to the OMG Hour.
And welcome to episode number 262 of the OMG Hour, and I'm happy to say we are trying yet again to stream this thing live. Let's see how this goes. I, of course, am your host, Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion.
And I am Tycko, known as Mr. Second Place in places of such.
In places. And you may notice, for those of you watching the stream, we're missing somebody. We are missing Jeff, and Jeff has a bunch of stuff he needs to take care of, so he's actually going to take the month of August off from the show, and it's just going to be Tycko and I. So we're gonna.
Sorry.
We're gonna see what we can do with just this guy.
Yeah, you know. Sorry about that, folks. Really sorry. Apologize wholeheartedly for the next month of your lives.
Yes. So welcome to the OMG Hour. Like I said, episode 262. It is August 10th, 2017. Tycko, we weren't here last week, and I blame you. It's totally your fault.
Absolutely. I can't remember what the fault, where it lies exactly.
I think it had something to do with it being your anniversary.
Right. Like, I made a choice.
Like, that's an excuse?
I made a choice, yes.
Like, I don't know. I thought you had your priorities straight. I mean,
listen,
personally.
Everybody knows 14 years, the gift you get is to skip a podcast. That's the gift for 14 years of marriage, is skip a podcast.
Really? That is the gift you gave to her? Yes,
yeah. That's, I think it's like 10 years is silver, 14 years is you skip a podcast. That's what it is.
I see. So I gotcha. All right, fair enough. So we skipped a podcast. Happy anniversary. I hope it was worth it.
It was lovely. It was a lovely evening, and I consider myself very lucky that Shannon has put up with me for as long as she has.
Yeah, we're still putting up with you, so, Yeah. I guess you're lucky on both fronts.
Yeah, that's true. Like, in another, 12 years, we have to skip a podcast, just us.
That's right. Okay. So the reason why we're trying to stream this live is because I finally was able to upgrade my internet last week from a measly 30 megabits down and 5 megabits up, which was not enough to stream the show. Yeah. I now have 250 down and 20 up. So let me tell you, downloading things is just beautiful.
It's got to be much nicer.
In fact, I've noticed that downloading files now is faster than transferring files from a USB stick.
Yeah.
So it's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. But let's not talk about computers. Let's talk about consoles that play games. Computers
All right, let's do
play
it.
Games. Actually, let's talk about computers that play games.
All right, did you play computer games?
I did. I actually I've been playing a game on PC and on iOS only because it just came to iOS, and I believe we talked about it. It just came out 2 weeks ago when we last recorded, and this was
literally when we were recording.
While we were recording, it became available, and then we're talking about Elder Scrolls Legends. It is now available for iOS. I've been playing it since it launched on iOS, and I've also been playing it on PC because I have become so addicted to this game, Tycko.
Yes. It is good. It is fun.
I've played, I play Magic the Gathering. I've played Hearthstone. There's other card games out there that I've played. And this is, for all intents and purposes, the same style game as like Hearthstone or Magic, right? And so I've never really gotten into the games wholeheartedly. I played them for a bit and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool, but never really got into it. There's something about Elder Scrolls Legends I am just loving. I love it. I'm creating my own decks. I think the characters, the abilities are interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in there I think are different than other games. With this game, you have what they call lanes. So every battleground has 2 lanes. One lane, usually on the left, is when you play a creature. It's just it's visible to your enemy immediately. And then there's the other lane, which is usually a shadow lane. And what that means is when you place a creature, that creature cannot be attacked until next turn or until they attack.
until they perform an action. Yeah.
Right, right. So immediately upon playing them, your enemy cannot vanquish them right away. Right?
Yeah.
They have to wait till at least next turn, which I like. Although I believe there's cards that can destroy a creature, and that works on them regardless.
Yeah.
But,
Silence also works on that too, because it'll take away that ability that they have to not be seen as well.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, I am really, really enjoying this. What I like about this too is the story mode. The story mode was challenging, but not super difficult.
Yeah. I found the same thing. And I had been playing this since beta, actually, on the PC. And so I found when I hopped into the iOS, because it takes all of your progress, I was already on chapter like 17 out of 20. So I finished that up super quick when I started playing on my phone, and I actually bit and bought the extra story.
Oh, nice.
Missions already. So I feel it's something that I'm playing quite a bit. Like I play for like an hour before bed or something like that.
Yeah,
so I'm getting the use out of it.
I usually play a match or two before bed, or first thing in the morning I'll play a match. I've been really enjoying the versus mode, playing against other real players, just in casual, it goes on, finds a random opponent, and you just play. Now, in the game, as you complete quests, you gain in-game currency. It's just gold, right? It's in-game currency, and you can't buy gold, right? Which I like, because you can't pay to win in this game.
Right.
Because
if you want the decks, you need to play in order to earn gold, in order to update your decks and get better cards. You can buy packs.
You can buy packs with real money, which are just random cards, 6 cards. But you can't buy full decks. Full decks can only be purchased with in-game currency, which I like. And I picked up this week Alduin's Apocalypse for 500 coin.
Yes.
And let me tell you, Tycko, this deck is epic.
It is a fun deck.
I've been playing this all week, and I have won 8 out of 10 matches with this deck. Now, the nice thing about Alduin's Apocalypse, it's a slow burn deck, and it's sort of a deck that gives your opponent a false sense of security, because it takes you a while to get everything out. And the stuff you get out early is very easily vanquished by your enemy, and then they can do damage on you. But then once you start getting your magicka up, and you can afford the bigger dragons and start bringing stuff out, then you're swarming them, right? But they don't even expect it. The other day I was playing it, and I think I was down to 8 health. My opponent was up to, I think, 34 health, because he had some creatures that was adding health to him as he played other creatures.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, game's over. But nope. Boom! Boom! Card after card, vanquished all his guys, and then he had nobody else to play out, and meanwhile I filled up my entire lane with dragons and high-level guys, and I just smited him. It was so epic,
Yeah, the thing I like about that deck is the one main Alduin, the main card in that deck is a 20 cost card to play.
Yes.
But for each dragon that he beats of yours, it's 2 less. So if you're sitting with that in your hand and he thinks he's getting the upper hand by killing all your dragons, everyone he's putting into the discard pile,
he actually is helping you.
You're actually helping, and you play. I think he's like a 20 attack.
12. He's 12. 12. 12 attack. 12 shield. 12 health.
Yeah.
Beautiful game. Like I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on why I am so in love with this versus something like Hearthstone.
Yeah, I think it's the lanes that do add a different element. It's not just getting your cards out. You have to figure out what lane you're going to be playing. And if you play some of the story modes, those lanes, the effects in those lanes can change.
Yes.
I've played one of the story mode ones in I can't remember what the second piece is called, but you're in a bar, and one of the lanes is Liquid Courage. So you get +2 attack every time you take damage but don't die.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So, and
that's what's nice about the story mode, is it adds extra stuff that isn't in normal play.
Right.
So
yeah,
I you know what I find with Elder Scrolls Legends is the cards they make sense to me. Like, as I'm playing through, I can see themes, and I've created a few decks myself that work actually quite well. I've created a deck of like all orcs and then a whole bunch of just items. So the way orcs work in this game is the more orcs you put out on the battlefield, they actually help each other. So most orcs will get like a +1 for every other orc that's also played.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I have a bunch of items. So like a +2/+2 shield or a +5 sword. And then I created a deck of orcs and items. So I throw a bunch of low-level orcs out, but then just keep upgrading them with items and make them super powerful.
And a lot of those items are 0 cost too.
Some of them are 0 cost. Yeah, others are quite expensive. But so it's a good deck. It's not perfect. Like, I think I need to tweak it, but that's what I'm finding about this game is I want to tweak the decks. Whereas with Hearthstone, I found that I didn't really notice themes or, you know, I didn't really see in my head how to create a deck with Hearthstone because I don't know, maybe the cards just didn't make sense to me from that point of view. Whereas in this game they do. So I'm really, really enjoying this game. It's fantastic.
Yeah, really fun, really well done, and free on iOS and PC. And then you can upgrade and buy some extra story stuff if you want, or packs.
It's your same account on either on PC or iOS. It's not separate accounts. So whatever you do on iOS also affects PC. If you buy decks on your iOS device, that deck will also be available for you in Steam.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't matter which platform you buy it on. It's cross-platform, which is great.
Yeah. No, fun game.
So last week, you and I had a chance, we got review code for Shadow Tactics, a game that we've been waiting for. We have been raving about this game for 2 years. 2
years at PAX. We've really enjoyed this one.
Love this game. It's finally out. I'm not sure what's going on, Tycko, because our game of the year this year, of course, our game of the show, sorry, was Yonder, right?
Yes.
And I felt let down by Yonder.
When it came out, the release, it was disappointing.
It was disappointing. I have to honestly say, I'm just as disappointed with Shadow Tactics. I'm finding it really awkward to play. I'm finding it extremely difficult for a stealth game. It is unbelievably difficult.
And if you're having trouble with stealth, imagine how I'm doing with it.
So how are you doing with it?
I'm trying to get stealthier. I'm not doing great with it. I'm still first level. I've gotten through some parts, but like I am getting to the part where I'm like getting a little frustrated with
yes, it's frustrating. It is really frustrating. I can't tell you how many times I died trying to get through the first story mission, and let's put it in perspective. So, first story mission took me an hour, 56 minutes to complete. Yeah. There is a challenge on this level. I think they call them, what do they call them, medals or something, that you gain if you complete that sort of challenge. There's a challenge to complete this level in 11 minutes. It genuinely,
if you memorize it, maybe.
It genuinely took me an hour to get through it. It was that difficult. And I don't get it. It's supposed to be a stealth game, and yet the very first level, they just bombard you with like 20 guards all in one area.
Yeah, I did find that they doesn't really, I guess not necessarily tutorial or anything like that, but I'm not really feeling like if for the first level, I'm not really feeling guided.
No,
like you would want to.
I agree. I also find the controls really awkward. So. When you can have multiple characters, okay? What you're seeing on screen right now, there are 3 characters to choose from. And you basically use the right bumper to switch between characters, which is fine. But what's strange about it is when you select that character, the camera doesn't move. You have to manually move the camera around while playing this game, including when you're running around, the camera doesn't follow you. You have to manually move the camera as you move the character to stay with him.
There's not even a center button to center on your character, which would have been a good idea to add to at least do that, because I found there's a couple times where I'm sneaking and I'm like, now I got to move the camera over
To see what,
And now I'm spotted and now I'm spotted because I didn't see those 7 guys that were standing there slightly off screen as I walked into the area.
And I don't really understand why it's that way, because in any stealth game I've played, the camera just auto follows you, and yet you can. And this is it's an isometric top down, right?
Yeah.
So if the camera was centered on you as a character, and then you can just spin the camera around to see all the different angles, that's all that's needed. I don't understand the design behind having to move the camera manually. I'd rather have the camera follow you and then allow me to just spin the camera around my character to see what's around him.
Yeah.
Right? And then when I switch to another character, it just auto-centers that character. Because the way it is now, if I switch to another character, now I'm like, oh, wait, where is that character? Where is he? I don't know where he is.
You gotta go find him.
I have to go find him now. It's awkward. And I think that might have been some of the difficulty in playing it, is the awkward controls. Because, again, and I bring it up so many times, especially with VR games, if you have to stop and think about what the controls are, it ruins the game. It ruins the experience.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm not thinking about the game and what do I need to do. I'm thinking about how do I do this and what controls do it. What am I doing? Right? And then by that time it's too late, especially if you're being attacked, and now you gotta remember these unnatural controls, and it just becomes too late to do anything.
Yeah, because it's not even just an easy button tap. You have to sneak up on a guy and hit X, and even to switch. I had one where I lined myself up and everything like that, and went to hit somebody with a throwing star, and forgot that I hadn't switched it off of my rock.
Yeah.
So I just I gently lobbed a rock at a guy who then shot me with an arrow.
Yeah, so I am, we might have to stop saying what our game of the show is from PAX, because
we're breaking games.
That's it. Because as soon as we say this is our game of the show, we are extremely disappointed. Like, these games played well as a demo at PAX.
A short experience for the snippet we got.
Yeah,
it played very, very well at PAX, but playing that as a full game, I think takes a lot away from it, and I am a little spoiled. Like, I still think that there's some potential to this style of game, but I think that they've got some miscues.
Let me tell you, if they can fix the control scheme, honestly, that would really make the game 100% better.
Yeah, I think control and camera control would probably be a big plus.
Absolutely. That is the biggest issue for me, is just the overall control. And then I think they need to tweak the difficulty, like even on the first mission. The first mission, you're trying to learn the game.
Yeah.
And it took me over an hour, or almost an hour, to play something that should essentially take me 11 minutes, So if they say finish the game in 11 minutes as a challenge, to me that means, okay, first time maybe it'll take you 20.
Yeah.
But no, this took me an hour.
Yeah, an hour?
Like
they do have a very generous save system. You can pretty much tap that button anytime you want and it'll save, but you shouldn't have to, like, every 2 steps you take.
And that's what it turned out to be.
Like, save. Okay, I made it 2 steps. Okay, save again just in case.
Yeah, exactly. And again, disappointed. Shadow Tactics, really looked forward to it because, again, I love stealth. It really appealed to me, this game, but I feel really let down by it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a little more time just to see if maybe familiarity will allow it to be be more enjoyable. But I'm already terrible at stealth games, so
I was thinking about you while playing it, thinking, oh man, if this I love stealth, so I'm pretty good at stealth.
And I was so proud of myself for the first 5 minutes of the game. Like, I haven't been spotted yet. I've gotten all the way through here. I haven't run in and just started trying to kill people, and I was so proud of myself. I'm going to be able to tell Sean I did well, and then all of a sudden it's dead. I'm like, okay, now this is exactly how I should play, how I usually play these games.
And the thing about the ending of this mission is, it's not like there were multiple paths. There was only one path, right? You didn't have a choice of how to get through the final section.
Yeah, you have to follow along that path. So there's I don't know. I figure, ramp up the difficulty in level 4.
Right.
Let me at least get a little bit invested in the game first before you really make me feel like I'm terrible at video games.
And well, that's the thing, right? Because after the first level, you're so disappointed and so I don't know, just you feel like you're stupid. You don't want to play anymore. You know. So anyway, let's move on.
All right.
I want to know about this other game you played.
Okay, well, so Shadow of Mordor. It's been out for a while. Oh,
not that. No. I know you've been playing Shadow of Mordor.
No, not that one. Oh, sir, the insult simulator.
Tell me about the... Okay, first of all, obviously you were pressing buttons again, so you've gotten back into your habit of pressing buttons. Good for you.
A little bit. Now this one, it was $2.99. I had seen this listed before, and I'm like, well, this is mildly interesting. Again, this is along the lines of stuff like, Kitty Powers and stuff like that I tend to play. But it was $2.99, so I figured, what the heck, I'll give it a try. So this is, you know what it reminds me of? The pirate combat in Monkey Island.
Okay, why don't you tell us what this game is?
So
why is it called the Insult Simulator?
So this game, you pick a character, and you have a whole bunch of random, weird-looking characters. An H.P. Lovecraft character. There's a Sigmund Freud character, and basically what you're doing is you're insulting each other, and you're taking turns picking a subject, like your mother, and identifiers like your mother was, and then like a hamster is one of the options that you can. And so you want to come up with the best insult between you and the other player, and you do damage to the person you're fighting based off of the strength of your insult.
Okay, so you're playing against the AI then?
This is against the AI on this one here. This is part of the tournament, I believe, that I was playing in.
Okay.
So
how do you know how your insults are rated?
I have no idea. I know the longer the insult, the better. If you use the same subject matter in back-to-back insults, you get a multiplier. So if I insult your mother twice in a row, I get a multiplier.
How dare you?
Exactly. And there's certain players, certain of the characters that have certain... they're more sensitive to certain things. So, for example, I think the Sigmund Freud character, if you speak about his mother, it hits him,
hits him where
a little
it hurts.
harder. Yeah, so you get a multiplier by that. So it's a very weird game. It's just two players, and you basically are just trying to come up with a long insult, and it's surprisingly fun. I think I was like, I'll play this for a couple of achievements, but I actually, I got a few achievements, and I'm just hopping on for 5 minutes. Shannon comes down. She's like, "What are you playing?" A lot of the insults are, like Monty Python stuff. Your father smells of elderberries. Your mother was a hamster. Like, so those ones are in there. You can string those together. There's actually achievements based off of getting some of these famous lines.
So there's a lot of pop culture stuff in there.
Pop culture references and stuff like that. It's fun. You can string them along too. So at the end of your turn, you don't necessarily have to complete your insult. You can just finish it with an end, and then move on and to hope that you get some more things to extend it as well. Some of them don't make sense, but
so it's literally just a battle of wits.
Yes, it's not even wits, because some of these things don't even make sense. They just have to make grammatical sense. They don't have to make sense in the like the sentence doesn't have to make sense, but it just
your husband has worse hair than your beloved auntie and deceased.
And is deceased.
And is deceased. Okay.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Okay, so this...
I actually played through the tournament, and I actually got to the final boss in the tournament.
Oh.
And the final boss in the tournament is God.
Oh, you have to insult God.
You have to insult God, and it is God as voiced by a Morgan Freeman impersonator.
Oh my goodness.
Which is absolutely fantastic.
That sounds incredible.
Fun. It is, for $2.99, buy the game. It's fun. I will, if anybody picks it up and wants to play and insult me on Xbox Live, I will happily...
Okay, so you can play against other players.
Yes, there is couch co-op. There is couch co-op as well as couch co-op online, not couch co-op, couch battles online, as well as single player and tournament.
All right. So I need to know then.
Yes.
This game or Kitty Powers? Which
I would recommend this game over Kitty Powers.
Wow, Kitty Powers was your game of the year.
I know. I know. I'm just really waiting for a deluxe edition of this to come out. So
You want the definitive edition,
the
right?
definitive edition with all, like 12 extra characters and whatnot.
Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, I've got some VR to talk about. I've played a couple of new, really great VR games. First one I want to talk about is one called Dino Frontier. And Dino Frontier, I love it. So the basics of Dino Frontier is sort of it's a Wild West frontier like settlement builder. Okay.
Yeah.
You have characters that you have to settle, and they build buildings as you as you cut down trees, gather wood, gather berries to create food. And then it's called Dino Frontier because this is the Wild Wild West, but dinosaurs still exist. They're roaming around your area, and you can capture and tame dinosaurs. Now, what's awesome about this game, I was actually giddy with enjoyment in this game because you sit down, of course, you're in VR, and you've got this big world around you, but then you realize that the game you're playing is like this table just sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
Right? You're like this big, huge god creature you just have your hands, but you're picking up characters, you're placing them where you want them. You then grab this sort of menu. You actually grab the menu, and it's a 3D menu sitting in front of you. You're like, okay, I want this, and then you grab what you want and place it somewhere on the board. Right? So it feels like you're playing a tabletop game. It's really cool.
It's like a kid with a giant like a train set sort of thing.
Basically, right? And then as you gather the proper resources, you can build more buildings. You can you then upgrade your characters. In order to upgrade your characters after they've done so much, you literally pick them up and then turn your hand over so it looks like you're holding them, and they're standing there big, so you can see them in detail, and they level up. You see their stats.
Yeah.
And then when you turn your hand back upside down, you're then grabbing them and you can place them where you want, or you can throw them if you want too.
Sort of like black and white.
Well, it's a god game. It's basically a god game, but because it's in VR, it literally feels like you're sitting in front of this big, huge tabletop game. And it's really brilliant. I'm really enjoying it. I spent well over an hour playing this game the first time I sat down because it was just so much fun, Really, really well done. I really enjoyed it. Great VR game if you have PSVR. Like, I really recommend it because it's just, there's really nothing to be worried about. You're not fighting. You're just, like I said, it's like playing a tabletop game, and it's just really, really fun.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you're concentrating on one thing. It's not like a resource management where you have to what's something's going on over here. I have to take care of that before.
Well, there are things going on. Like once you get more people in the village, they're all doing their own thing. One might be cutting down trees. One might be harvesting berries. But you have to be careful because sometimes they'll go off and start fighting dinosaurs. And if you don't watch them, their health will get down. So you need to you grab him, bring him back to the village, put him in the medical hut to heal him, or they get tired, so you have to grab them, put them at the tent so they'll go to sleep. And eventually, as you gather dinosaurs, the dinosaur does some of the work for you. So at first, there's a lot of handiwork, grabbing all of the wood, placing them in the wood chipper, grabbing the berries and putting them in the food area so you can build food. And then you have to water the trees and the berries to grow more. Right? So you grab a watering can and you're watering things around. Eventually, as you capture dinosaurs, one of the dinosaurs lays eggs continually, so you have a continuous stream of food. One of the dinosaurs will follow your settlers around and gather all the wood they chop down, so you no longer have to gather the wood manually. Right? Well, that's good. So that's the idea, is while you start out doing everything manually, as you build up your town and as you train dinosaurs, they start doing all the heavy lifting for you so you can manage things more efficiently. But really smart, really, really enjoying this game.
Yeah, I know she had fireworks fingers there for a second. Is that like when you level up or something?
That's when I, as a player, level up, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that was kind of cool. I like the fireworks fingers.
It was cool. It's very cool. There's a lot about this game that I really enjoy. Like, I love the menu system, like literally reaching out and grabbing this item in midair and holding it in front of me. And again, the movement is so precise that it really does feel like I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You know, as I move the PlayStation Move controllers, it's, you know, 1-to-1 movement in the game. It's really fun. I love grabbing the menu and looking at it and picking out the thing I want to build. It feels natural to use it. The controls are, you know, I've complained about controls in VR before. The controls in this game feel good to the point where I'm not thinking about what do I need to do. It's natural to do it. You know, grabbing the table, if I grab the table with both hands and move it, I can move around to get to a further area, or I can grab and pinch in or out to zoom in or out from the table. On the left-hand side, there is basically a slider. I can slide it up or down, and it raises or lowers the table. Right? So if I want it to be lowered, I want to look down further on it, I can put...
Sort of a zoom?
Think about it like the height of the table itself.
Yeah.
Right? So I can move the table lower, so I'm looking down on it more, or I can move it right up, so I'm looking into it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Right? But yes, really smart use of VR. I'm really enjoying this game. I thought it was really well done.
It looks a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. And the other VR game, again for PSVR. Now, all of these were reviewed using download codes that were provided by the publisher. The next one is called Archangel. Archangel. Imagine Pacific Rim.
Okay.
Right? So you're in this massive mech. Okay, it is a prototype mech, and you as the player are in this massive mech with 2 arms. You're using the motion controls. One arm has a Gatling gun on it. The other arm has rocket launchers, like missiles. And then both arms also have shields. So you can put up your shield, and you have to put it up in front of you to shield you. They both have shields as well that only last for a certain amount of time. So it's a lot of, you know, shooting the enemies down, putting up your shield at the right time. So shield on one hand, shooting with another type thing. And it's I would call it more like a rail shooter, because you're not controlling the mech itself. You're controlling the arms, the weapons, and the shields of the mech.
You've got scripted shooting sequences.
Basically. Yeah, it's scripted shooting sequences, but it does get difficult. You really have to watch your health, and you really have to be quick with the shields, and like both using shield with one hand but shooting with the other. It's just again, great use of VR. What I found about this game when I first went into it, and I've really, I kind of realized the other day what is so fascinating about VR is just getting in this game and just the sheer scale of games. Like, you get in, the world opens up around you, and I'm like looking straight up and all the way around me, and it's just the sheer scale of VR games is you're there, right? Like, you go into a game, a non-VR game, and yes, you have camera control where you can look around, but you don't feel that scale until you're in VR.
Yeah.
You know? And this game started out with you on a train as just the guy who's in the mech. A guy or a girl, you can choose which one you want to be. And then you get strapped into this device, and it elevates you up into the mech. So you're in this VR, you look straight up, and you can hardly see the top of the mech, it's so big. And then it gets you straps you into this chair, it takes you up, and, you know, nice and slow, it just gives you the grand tour of the mech as you get moved up and then into the mech itself, you know, and then it throws you into the tutorial of how to pilot it. But wow, this game is, again, great use of VR, really fun to play. Really good challenge too, you know. Like, what's nice about it too is the checkpoints are frequent. So if you die, you're not going back to the beginning. You're going back maybe a few minutes, which I really like about it. A lot of the times, if you're on a big battle, like especially at the end of each level, there's sort of I wouldn't call it a boss battle, but it's kind of a boss battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you die during that boss battle, it doesn't take you back to the middle of the level. It just takes you back to the beginning of that boss fight. So you just try it again, which sometimes is helpful because you may have entered it with half health. Now you get to enter it with full health.
You start with full health.
Yeah, so everything's reset.
Are there different environments as well, or is it just the sort of Sandy City.
It's future apocalyptic. It's in Michigan. I think it's taking place in Michigan. So it's similar environments throughout. You're always being followed by these ships that are kind of giving you where things are coming from. There's an AI on the mech as well. What you're seeing in the video, honestly, is just a portion of what I see in game, because I'm seeing a lot more of the
environment.
The environment, because down below there's controls. There's an AI that talks to you and kind of warns you what's coming. So on the video here, you're not really seeing everything that I see, but you get the gist of what the game's about. It's really fun. I'm really enjoying it. So again, if you have PSVR, I recommend both Dino Frontier and Archangel. Really good VR games, well worth picking up.
Excellent. No, it looks fun.
Yeah, and one really quick, because it went on sale. I finally picked up Until Dawn: Rush of Blood. This is one of the launch titles for PSVR. This is literally an on-rail shooter in the world of Until Dawn. Okay, so it's... I
played this one.
Yeah, well, there's a demo. Yeah, you did play.
This is one of the demos that I played.
Yeah, this is the first. So the full game. What you're seeing is gameplay of my daughter Aria, who loves Until Dawn, and the scary factor is in here. When she was I was howling. I was laughing so hard watching her play, because she was legitimately screaming in terror while playing this game. They've done a really good job adding the horror, survival, but on a rail shooter.
Yeah.
So well done. And as someone who's played Until Dawn, you notice that all of the environments are environments right out of Until Dawn. Right? So while it's an on-rail shooter that kind of has sort of nothing to do with Until Dawn, it's Until Dawn in the environments you're going through, right? So you're seeing things that you saw while playing Until Dawn.
Yeah, it's like the cabin, it's the cabin set up as a carnival.
Yeah, basically, right? So you're going through the cabin, you're going through the mines, and then characters you see. One of the carnival host is the psychiatrist that you see in the cutscenes, in the in-between cutscenes.
Okay.
Right. So
Shannon wouldn't handle this game very well.
Oh, because believe me, you have things literally jumping in your face because it's VR, and it is coming right at you in your face. And my daughter was just screaming, like fun screaming. She loved it. Her heart was beating. She was breathing heavy by the time she was done playing. But after every chapter, she's like, "Okay, I want to keep going. I want to keep going." But yet she was like breathing so heavy from fright. She just loves it. She loves horror. So she was having a great time. Really, really well done. It's fantastic.
Shannon wouldn't handle the clowns well. That would be Shannon's big.
Well, that's
big thing.
The whole point, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
No, it looks. I remember the demo, at least, that we played. I really enjoyed that demo, and it controlled and felt really smooth too.
It controls really, really well. And the nice thing is you're in the dark, so your only light are the flashlights on your gun.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of the horror element too, right? But it's nice. It's a nice game. It's great VR, and this was a launch title, which it says a lot. They put a lot of effort into this.
Yeah, no, really fun game if I recall correctly. And how much was it on sale for?
I think it's regular $25. I think I got it for $10. I think it was $9.99.
See, that's a good deal. $10.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, I have a special treat for everybody. We have, for the first time in, I'm not sure how, maybe a couple of months now, we have a new lost treasure for the video listeners. So the video listeners haven't had a lost treasure for a while. So let's move on to our first lost treasure in quite a while.
Lost Treasures with your gaming archaeologist, Syd Bolton.
If you are a fan of cinematic games and 30s style gangster movies, then you're going to love this lost treasure, The King of Chicago from Cinemaware. When it comes to Cinemaware, they're likely better known for games like Defender of the Crown, but The King of Chicago really embodied what the game publisher was all about, a cinematic experience at a time when computers and consoles weren't used to delivering that kind of atmospheric experience. The King of Chicago was a little unusual for Cinemaware in that it was developed originally on a black and white Macintosh by Doug Sharp, and then the team at Master Designer Software amped up the graphics for the Amiga, Atari ST, Apple IIGS, DOS, and even the Sharp X68000, in addition to the original Mac version. Released in 1987, The King of Chicago introduces Alphonse Capone, Thompson machine guns, and protection rackets to life in what can only be described as a truly remarkable product for the time. It has surprises, twists, and subplots, making for an overall wonderful experience. The gameplay is varied, including shooting elements and even strategy ones, all in the same game. It wasn't too often that you had drive-by shootings, gambling, and bribery in the same game, but such was the life of a gangster. The newly revived Cinemaware has released the game for mobile devices today, so if you missed out on playing this classic back in the day, you can do so without pulling that old Amiga out of the closet. Until next time, I'm Syd Bolton, your gaming archaeologist, digging up the lost treasures for you, right here on OMG Nexus and the OMG Hour.
Thank you very much, Syd, for continually doing our Lost Treasures. You can follow Syd on Twitter, and he is at Syd Bolton. Of course, that is Syd with a Y. So once again, thank you, Syd, for continually doing them. I think that was our 134th Lost Treasure. So, you know,
getting up there.
Syd is no slouch. He's been doing them faithfully for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
All right, Tycko, we got a bunch of stuff we want to talk about. Now, you mentioned earlier that you're still playing some Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor.
I am. I got back into the Game of the Year edition.
Are you getting ready for Shadow of War?
That is pretty much what it is. I'm like, it's coming soon, October, I believe. So yeah. I'm getting ready. I wanted to get back used to that gameplay, and it's such a fun game.
It is, but you know what? I don't find it quite as compelling as what I hoped it would be, being sort of Assassin's Creed-like, you know. But did you? So you know that they've enhanced the Nemesis system for Shadow of War.
Yes.
But here's the weird thing. Apparently, Shadow of War's Nemesis system is going to have microtransactions to help you out. How do you feel about such a thing?
So, it's not absolutely necessary to purchase any of these things. This is not. It's a single player game. So this is a pay to speed up your process sort of thing. So you don't have to do the grind as much if you don't want to do that.
But doesn't that kind of ruin the experience, really?
If you use it, maybe. I don't know. Like, I'd have to see exactly. From what I can tell, they're going to be offering, like, you know, to upgrade your Nemesis and your minions and stuff like that a little bit. Some of it'll be, you know, visual only. Some of it will actually give them some boosts and stuff.
So it's not really pay to win, but it's more like pay to cheat.
Yeah, it's like basically you want to use some cheat codes, here you go. You buy them in these packs or these chests or whatever it is.
It just seems weird to me. Like, is this a money grab? Is this like, how can we make more money? You know what I mean? It absolutely
is. Because you know there will be some people who will buy this at launch and they will spend money on this. I mean, I've seen this with Mass Effect.
Need for Speed did it.
Oh, Need for Speed does it tons. Mass Effect did this with their online mode, where you had to buy those little chests in order to try to get new players to unlock and stuff like that. Companies are doing this. They know that they are the way that they're going to make money off of these games, especially when they have to start dropping the price on the actual game, is when people get interested, they'll buy these microtransactions to do it. I'm not going to pay for any microtransactions in the game.
Yeah, no, I have never in my life bought that kind of microtransaction. You know, when Need for Speed, for example, I remember them having car packs or customization packs for your cars, which were all accessible through playing the game, but you could buy them outright if you didn't want to wait for it to unlock in the game. And
they make it a very slow grind.
Yeah, why would I think really it's literally just a money grab, because they know people are going to do it. They know people will buy it, you know. I don't know, I feel like it cheapens the image of the game when they do stuff like that. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, It depends. Like, I mean, having a chess system and stuff like that, I mean, that's okay. I think it just depends on what they're putting in these things and like what they're trying to charge people for. Like, I know the NBA games. I know you're not a sports guy, but the NBA games do this as well, where you can purchase card packs and stuff like that to upgrade your rosters. But you can earn the coin or the they call it VC by playing like their mobile game and doing some other things as well.
Yeah.
And those ones there, I have no problem. Like I like that actually, because then I can take my experience offline from the console and do that on my phone. So if they had like a Shadow of War iOS game for me to play where I could earn coin to buy my, to spend on my microtransactions, I'd be really into it. But the fact that they're just going for more cash from us.
Yeah. So Andy Schott's watching us, and he chimed in. He said he's not a fan of loot boxes in general. They make no sense in a single-player game. I kind of agree with that. A single-player game, loot boxes make no sense. And he goes on to say, if they also have paid DLC, this seems really bad. If they're going to have paid DLC, but also microtransactions to reward yourself, it makes no sense, especially in a single-player game.
Yeah. I know I won't be spending any more. I'm going to buy the game. I'm going to buy the game.
Oh,
They'll get my money on the game.
I'm gonna be playing the game for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with throwing in microtransactions on single-player stuff.
Yeah, it seems very odd. Like, I mean, for something like an Overwatch or something like that, where the way you look in game can be identified.
Your
by
cosmetics. That makes sense in a online game where your character is your persona.
Yeah,
that makes sense if you want to spend money for cosmetic stuff
and customization.
Yeah,
but
in a single player game that no one experiences but you.
Yeah, it's a very odd.
Yeah, it's just a money grab.
Well, it's the EA model that they've done for years. It's like, oh well, you want to do this in Tiger Woods. Like, oh, you want all the clubs. Well, you can unlock them by going through the career mode and earning money and paying for them, or just give us another $6 and we'll just give you all the clubs and all the courses right now.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on because we have, Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor brought in the Nemesis system, which was a unique system for a video game. And we've talked about it before, where I'm surprised no one else has done something like that. But a new game came out this past week called Hellblade, and they're also doing something really interesting. Hellblade deletes your save game if you die too many times.
I think that's really cool, to be honest with you. I like the idea of that.
Yes.
That they are like, for me, this game would not be a game that I would buy because of that. Like, I would never get past like the first 5 minutes of the game. My game save would be deleted like every time, and the game would just actually package itself up, re-shrink wrap itself, and walk itself back to the store if I bought it.
Well, here's what's great about this system that I've read up about is the nice thing about Hellblade is the main character is avenging her dead husband, or trying to save him from Viking hell, basically, and the whole point of deleting the save file is every time she dies, this darkness starts rolling up her arm, these tendrils, and it symbolizes her descent into madness.
Yeah.
And if those tendrils reach her head, reach her brain, she essentially dies to reality. She dies and cannot continue. And from a story point of view, if the main character is literally dead, there is no story to continue, so your save game is gone.
Yeah,
which I think is kind of it's a brilliant mechanic. I don't know how hard the game is to begin with, so like if it's like Dark Souls kind of difficult, then
that's just mean. But it's still, right? I respect that. I respect their decision to put together a game like that. It's very mean to do if it's Dark Souls difficulty.
I agree. So I don't know how difficult the game is to begin with. If anybody is watching and has played the game, I'd love to know. Or if you're listening and you've played the game, please let us know on Twitter or send us an email. But I'd love to know, how difficult is this game? Because I have yet to play it, but I'm really interested in it.
Looks gorgeous.
I haven't even seen videos of it.
Oh, man, it looks absolutely beautiful. This
really?
Game. Yeah.
But you don't know what kind of game it is, like gameplay style?
It's it looks like a Dark Souls sort of thing, like sort of some platforming and battle and stuff. But from what I saw, there's no HUD, there's nothing to indicate how you're supposed to play the game either. It doesn't say, oh, go hit this button to do this or anything like that. So it's basically just you're learning as you go too.
I read that too. The very first battle you come to, which is the only kind of teaching moment where it teaches you about the deleting your save. Basically, if you die too many times, you basically enter a battle that you can't win. Yeah. And but it doesn't tell you how to fight. That whole battle is literally there to get you to figure out how to fight, but you're not going to win the battle. You're going to die, because then it teaches you about the death mechanics. Yeah. And that's interesting too. It does not hold your hand. It's like, you're going to die, but we're going to let you figure out how this works. Yeah. And then when you do die, we'll let you know about the mechanic. Yeah. So definitely no hand holding in this game.
No, I mean, again, I'm not great at games like this, so I would probably have my save deleted quite a few times. But I respect the fact that they've chose to do something a little bit different. When growing up, like, if you were playing a game and you died, you lost your 3 lives and you were done.
It, right? That's when you played Super Mario World.
Yeah.
When you died 4 times, or all of your lives were gone, it was game over.
You were done. It's start from the beginning. Again. It's not start from level 12 again or whatever it is. World 4-1. You were dead.
You were dead.
I like this going back, and there at least you can die a couple of times.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know how many times it is, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's taking today's quality of gaming back to yesterday's style of gaming, where you have X number of lives, period.
Yeah. And some games give you this, like Diablo with their hardcore mode, one death and you're done.
There are permadeath.
As a mode.
Yes.
I respect the fact that this is our game. You either play it the way we built it in order to experience the story, or find something else. If you can't do it, and I'm not one who can do it, so I wouldn't pick this game up. Well, I probably still would, because there's a button there. And
there's a button. You need to, when it goes on sale, you're going to press buttons. This sort of it takes the roguelike mechanic, where it's one death, it's permadeath, which I don't enjoy one death games. Okay, I'm not going to play a game where one death and it's game over. I don't like roguelikes, but I am fascinated by this. You have, say, 7 lives. Yeah. If you die 7 times, it is game over. So you have that fear of death in the game.
Yeah. Like, you don't want to die. Like a roguelike, I'm going to run through as far as I can and die just so I can map out the level. You can't really do that with this. Like, if you die, you are slowly getting closer and closer to the end. I think it's even better if they don't tell you how many lives that is that you have. Like,
True.
You're just playing through. It's like, man, I've died like 4 times. Is it 5? Is it going to be 5? And you just don't know.
Well,
it'd be nice if it was random too.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it's random. I don't think you typically know how many lives you have, because it's just visual. It's the tendrils moving up her arm. So it's who knows how far they're going to move with each death. I have no idea. Yeah. So you don't really have a notion as to how many deaths you have.
The fact that it's tied to the story, though, is really cool. The fact that it's tied to that visual, tied to that story. Yeah. It's not just, oh, well, we've decided this is a gameplay mechanic. No, it's tied to the story. You die this enough times, and you're not going to be able to continue.
And it's her mental stability that's degrading every time she dies. And I agree. It's a really great new mechanic. And speaking of deleted saves, I'm actually thinking of deleting my No Man's Sky save and starting again. Because they've done a whole bunch of updates. They've got version 1.3 coming out this week, which adds apparently more to the story. So I'm thinking, what story? Is there actually a story now? But I know a while back they did the base building. They're going to have quick warps, or I can't remember how
fast travel.
Fast travel. Thank you. My mind went completely blank. They're going to have fast travel abilities in the game now. So I'm thinking, you know what? It's been a long time since I've played. It's probably been like a year since I've played the game. Yeah. There's been a lot of updates to No Man's Sky. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know if I want to just jump in with my current game and try to figure it out again. I'm
I
thinking,
remember what you were doing,
right,
too.
right, and how many planets was I on? I'm thinking maybe I'll just start again and kind of learn it from scratch.
Yeah,
Because-
that's actually not a bad idea, because it does force you to learn the mechanics. And anything new, you're not going to be like, oh, what the heck does this do?
Right, exactly. And it's I'm sort of at that point where, there's not a whole lot going on right now. Destiny 2 comes out next month. This month, there's not a whole lot going on. It might be the time maybe jump back into No Man's Sky, experience it again. I didn't hate No Man's Sky. It just became tedious after a while. It was just the same thing over and over again.
I think the big thing with No Man's Sky was it didn't deliver what it had promised originally, so people were left disappointed. It's not necessarily that the game itself was terrible, but it didn't deliver what people were expecting, and so therefore a lot of people felt very let down by that.
And it was very repetitive. You're doing the same thing over and over. So I may jump back in. So version 1.3 is available this week. What is next? One more thing that we were talking about earlier that I'm not sure how I feel about this. So apparently eSports could be part of the 2024 Olympics in Paris. I was talking about this with a friend today.
Yeah.
And listen, I understand the dedication behind esports teams. I know that they're dedicated, they spend time, they basically live and breathe that game to compete in that game. It is extremely competitive. I get it. But it is not a sport.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of it being an official part of the Olympics.
The Olympics is supposed to be about physical strength and endurance.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I consider esports anything near a sport, period.
Yeah. There's so many actual sports that aren't part of the Olympics.
Right.
At this point. Like actual physical activities that are not part of the Olympics. That's the sort of thing, like, then, well, why would we even consider this? And then if that's going to be the case, do you have to create a whole separate E-Olympics for each game? Like, is there a Madden? Is there a NBA?
And then that's just it. If esports are going to be part of the Olympics, what game?
Yeah.
It's not like esports is one game. No, it's like it's dozens of games that are considered esports games.
Yeah.
Which
is
one?
Is the insult generator going to be in there as an Olympic sport? Do I have a chance at a gold medal at some point?
It should be.
It should. It should be in there, and I will go for the medal for Canada in the insult
generator. Well, I don't know. I'm baffled. The reasoning behind this is they want to appeal to the younger audience and get them interested in the Olympics. Come on, really?
Well, the problems you run into have nothing to... People are interested. The younger generation is interested in it now. The problem is when it's in Paris and you have to watch something at 2 a.m. in order to experience it.
Yeah.
That's the problem is because it's being seen around the world. Like you're not getting the coverage that you want to get.
Right.
I don't think adding this is going to be like, man, I got to watch those people play Dota. To see who's going to take home the medal. That's not going to appeal to me at all.
I get having esports tournaments.
Yes.
I get it, and having prizes and winners. I get it. But do we really need them to compete for Canada, for a gold medal in esports for Canada or for the US?
In the actual have excuse me, have an E-Olympics.
Yes, if you want. It doesn't...
do that.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
Have a sponsored E-Olympics. Have, all the big publishers have their own little, thing. Have a Madden Olympics, whatever. Do whatever you want for that. Just keep it away from the regular sports.
The real Olympics. I don't get it. I don't... Listeners, viewers, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think I'm crazy by saying it's not a sport? You all know I'm a gamer. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing this show if I wasn't. But I don't agree that esports... I don't even think they should be called esports. I don't know where the term came from. They're not sports. It's a video game And like I said, I understand the dedication and the training that goes behind it.
Yeah.
But it's not a freaking sport.
No, I mean, they should have their own platform and venue to put that out there. I don't think that they need to piggyback the Olympics in order to make that work.
I agree. So we are pretty much at our hour mark here. There is one more thing I want to talk about, and Tycko, I don't know if you're aware of it.
I am not.
But I think I found your new game of the year.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. It's called Perfect Date, Tycko.
Oh, but
since I know how much you loved Kitty Powers, you can now go out on a date with cats.
Now, here's the thing. I'm a dog person, number one.
It's going to be available on iOS, Tycko.
Oh, well, then you know what? I will give this a try solely for the purpose of you having to listen to me talk about this for a couple of minutes. Just for that. I'm gonna play this and make sure that I've got video, and just so you have to listen to me talk about this game.
Perfect Date. It's called Perfect Date. So you're a researcher on Kitty Island, and you have to go out on dates with cats. I thought, you know what? I saw this, Tycko, and I'm like, this is right up your alley. I know how much you loved Kitty Powers. Kitty, get it? Kitty Powers, and now there's Perfect Date.
I really want to know, like, this is like the same group of people that approved Sharknado as a movie franchise and stuff like that. It was like, I don't care, say whatever you want. We'll approve it. We've got funding.
Right?
Go ahead.
Right? Yeah, so what, it's Sharknado 5 now?
I just watched Sharknado 5.
Oh my gosh.
It was terrible.
All right. Well, that is pretty much it for episode number 262. And if I'm not mistaken, the stream went really well, so I'm very happy about that. So chances are we will go live every week when we record, typically Thursday nights at 6 p.m. or shortly thereafter, whenever I decide to get Tycko on the line.
Hey, listen, I was home and on time and ready to go today.
Sure you were.
Well, technically I was.
Technically, but then your computer wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of worked.
All right. All right, so thanks for those of you who stopped by to watch live. We really appreciate it. Tell all your friends. Tell a whole bunch. Anyway, Tycko, why don't you send us out?
Yes, you've thrown me off because we're now doing the whole thing?
Yeah, do the whole thing. Just
the whole thing? All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Second Place. You can follow the show on Twitter at the OMGR. You can follow Jeff on Twitter at Sinix. That's SINNIX. Like, subscribe, comment, and share us with your friends. And then Sean gets to talk.
You should do some guns for Jeff. Excellent. Just because Jeff isn't here for the month, we'll get the finger guns in anyway. Of course, I am Ziantane, XIANTAYNE, and check out our show notes over at omgnexus.com, where we have a link to everything that we talk about. And that's it. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks for listening. And thanks again, of course, to our gaming archaeologist, Syd Bolton, for our video. He's the one who captured the video for us for Lost Treasures. Follow him at Syd Bolton on Twitter. We'll be back next week. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Where's the ending? Oh, there it is. See ya. This has been an OMGNexus.com production.